NFL Live. We've got a loaded show today. Caleb Williams spoke about his relationship with new head coach Ben Johnson. Hear why he feels he's getting the coaching he needs this time around. Plus, Jayden Daniels got a new weapon out wide. Can the versatile playmaker Deebo Samuel elevate the Rookie of the Year to an even higher level? And we kick off our offseason series of Deep Dive by Adam Schefter with a closer look at the Vikings' decision to move on from Sam Darnold to young J.J. McCarthy. Welcome into our studios alongside Mina Kimes, Andrew Hawkins, Dan Graziano. I'm Phil Murphy, and guys, offseason business mostly wrapped, most of it, not all. Some stars in search of beefed up contracts. Others might be headed toward greener pastures, like cornerback Jalen Ramsey. Adam Schefter told Pat McAfee last week a Ramsey trade away from Miami is more a question of when rather than if. The three-time first-team All-Pro was absent from mandatory minicamp last week. GM Chris Greer, he's been open about intentions to trade Ramsey since April. That despite a somewhat thin cornerback room in Miami. And it's hard to find a more dependable defender than Ramsey in recent years. Since he entered the NFL in 2016, Ramsey has the second highest percentage of his team's pass breakups. That's among more than 200 defenders to play 10 games. The only guy ahead of him just won a Super Bowl in Darius Slay. Slade changed teams in the offseason, moving across the state to Pittsburgh. Wide receiver Tyreek Hill made it clear Saturday at Fanatics Fest in New York. He wants Ramsey to stay put. Quote, "I'm going to get him back, full court press. I'm getting him back in a Dolphins jersey. I don't care what they say. It's tampering, whatever. We need Ramsey. He's a dog. One of the best quarterbacks in the league, man. Great leader, great teammate too, though. That's what he doesn't get a lot of credit for. We just need him on the Dolphins, man." Mina, what do you think the Dolphins should do with the seven-time Pro Bowler Jalen Ramsey?
Well, first I'll say I don't think it's tampering if he's still on your team. So
Correct.
Tyreek Hill is free to try to convince him to stay. And I can see why. And there's a litany of reasons for it. One of which is I don't think they're going to get a lot in return for trading him at this point. The other is his absence would leave a real void in the back end of this defense. I like this Dolphins front. You've got the perpetually underrated Zach Sealer, Kenneth Grant, the defensive tackle they drafted out of Michigan. I think he's stout against the run and also has pass rush upside. Jalen Phillips is coming back. Chop Robinson was excellent last year. But behind it, that's where I start to get worried about this defense. Because if you take out Jalen Ramsey, this to me is one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. I understand he isn't the Jalen Ramsey of a few years ago, but trust me, he is still much needed on this defense because of the talent or lack thereof around him.
Yeah, they would have to figure out who to replace him with. They are not deep at that position, and that is one of the issues that the Dolphins are confronting here. But everybody I talk to still seems to believe that Jalen Ramsey will get traded, that he and the Dolphins have arrived at a point where they're not going to be able to move on together, that something significant would have to change in order for him to be on the Dolphins this year. So the June 1st date came and went. Obviously, after June 1st, now they have a less of a salary cap impact if they trade him. The acquiring team would still need to take on $20 million in salary for this year, so that's something that they have to work out, as well as what they would be getting in return. But it still sounds most likely that he ends up getting traded. The Rams have been mentioned as a landing spot, one of his former teams. The Chargers, a lot of the West Coast teams that he supposedly would prefer to play for. Baltimore was brought up, but they signed Jair Alexander last week, so maybe that takes them out of it. Everything I'm being told still indicates that the plan is to trade him.
Hawk, let's talk about the guy who made the case to keep Ramsey, Tyreek Hill. 2 years ago, we were talking maybe 2,000 yards for him in a single season. Last year, I know Tua only played 11 games, but Hill didn't make it to 1,000. What is your confidence level that Hill can get back to that dominant form?
I'm still pretty confident in Tyreek. I think Tyreek has a very rare skill set. And actually, I know it was a funny video everybody saw last week where he ran the 100-meter dash, and he went 10.15. Now, for me, that showed significance for a lot of reasons. Tyreek Hill is getting up there in age. We all understand what happens to receivers as they get older and throughout their career. The thing that goes first is your top-line speed. So by watching that video, it tells me that has been a point of emphasis for Tyreek. That wasn't a time or even a form that you just jump on the track and run. When I watch that video, it tells me he's been on the track. He has been continuing to work and maintaining his long-range speed. So I think in this season, that's where I have hope that as long as Tua stays healthy which starts with the offensive line, as well as Tua's ability to make sure he's making sound decisions, I think you'll see a bounce back year from Tyreek Hill because I still think he has a bunch of juice.
You talk about those O-line issues. Those aren't new in Miami. Over the last 5 seasons, they rank 31st in pass block win rate of 32 teams. But things that are new or newsy, top stories in Graz. We got a few defensive stars at contract crossroads. What's the latest on Trey Hendrickson?
Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals continue to have conversations, but they have not made much progress on a deal. The Bengals have offered him, as I have been told, a 1-year extension, something similar to what Danielle Hunter got from Houston this offseason. Hendrickson looking for a little bit more long-term security, but at age 30, he's not someone the Bengals have been super eager to extend out for multiple years. TJ Watt, also 30, 2 months older than Hendrickson. He's in the final year of his deal with Pittsburgh, looking at $21 million this year. He wants a new deal. The top of the edge rusher market has gone up around $40 million with Myles Garrett, so he is hoping to get that done. Last time TJ Watt needed a new contract, it took until September 9th to get it done, right before the start of the season, so that could drag out. Micah Parsons in Dallas, likely to sign a contract that makes him the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. It has not been done yet. Per custom, the Cowboys may take a while to get this done, but he has had conversations ongoing with the team. Both sides believe they want to work out a deal and understand where it is likely to land. This is probably a matter of time. And then Terry McLaurin, wide receiver for the Washington Commanders. He wants a new contract, making about $19.5 million this year, the last year of his deal. We've got receivers making upwards of $35, close to $40 million. McLaurin believes he's earned a raise and has been away for a good chunk of the offseason program as a result. That is another deal that likely has to get worked out before training camp, or else Terry McLaurin might, not be there.
Man, the reigning offensive rookie of the year would love to see his wide receiver one have a more stable ground in D.C., figuring out how to keep those good vibes flowing in D.C. Could have chosen a lot of numbers to show you how good Jayden Daniels was in year one. This one stood out. Not 1, not 2, not 3, 6 fourth quarter comeback wins last season, including the playoffs. That's the most by any rookie starting QB since 1950. And Daniels might not need so many comebacks with Deebo Samuel now in the huddle.
Let's get into the Micah Parsons stuff. Really, thanks to Kevin Durant and kind of Kay Adams at Fanatics Fest, some delusional Commanders fans are going to harbor hopes of Micah Parsons heading to Washington. Both Durant and Parsons were at Fanatics Fest. Kay Adams was doing, hosting duties there, for lack of a better term there. So she's talking to Kevin Durant, who, of course, just got traded to the Houston Rockets. And Micah's in the vicinity. So Kay says to Kevin Durant, hey, Micah's not signed to the Cowboys, which technically he is, by the way. He's got this year and 2 franchise tags. She meant long-term, so I get it. And then, Kevin Durant goes, I think he will be a Commander at some point in his career. And Kay says when? And Durant follows up with, I would say 2 years from now. And then, Kay brings Micah over, and he goes, thoughts, whatever. And he goes, I only rock with Dan Quinn. Do you know what I mean? No, I actually don't know what you mean, Micah. I think there's 2 different interpretations of that, which could have just been made clear by saying no in the first place. Does Micah mean he loves Dan Quinn so much he wants to be a Commander? That's how Durant kind of spun afterward. Durant said, that's all you need. That's all you need. Or, the way I interpreted it, does Micah mean the only thing he likes about the Commanders is Dan Quinn? And obviously Micah and Dan Quinn have a really good relationship. But why is this now even being floated out there? You could have shot it down immediately. Instead, it's just another distraction. So what is the percent chance? I think the answer is essentially 100. What is the percent chance the Cowboys pay Micah Parsons? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. I, for one, hate that this Micah Parsons Commanders thing, thanks to Kevin Durant, is a topic at all. I don't understand. I hate that this is a thing. Shoot, we're filming this before I think First Take does its NFL stuff. That would be wouldn't be surprising to anybody if this was First Take's top NFL story, right? Would anyone be surprised by that? I don't think that many people actually believe it is a likely outcome. There's multiple years of team control, all that stuff. But at the same time, why couldn't Micah just say no? Why couldn't he just say, I'm not doing that? Like, I love Dan Quinn, but no. Like, that's all you had to say. Also, why can't the deal be done already so it's not even a remotely 1% outcome possibility chance? Why? In the end, nothing actually changes here. Nothing really gets adjusted beyond it's just another distraction. It's another headline, another story that we've all got to see and people will crack their Cowboys jokes about. That's all it is. Look, if you've got a month until training camp, let's get it done. Get it done and make him the highest paid non-QB in NFL history. And then in a year, 2 years, whatever, it's not going to be the highest paid non-QB anymore. Just get it done. And blame whoever you want to blame. I'm tired of not having it done at this point.